Hello everybody, it's Stefan Joubert here from the Stefan Joubert Guitar Academy, and in today's video I'm going to be speaking to you about the diminished 7th arpeggios. I was thinking, what can I speak to you about, or what is of interest? And you know, when you learn the guitar there are so many subjects, and when I make these videos on the YouTube channel, the main purpose is just to share broad strokes of the guitar and broad strokes of music for you just to pick up something here and there. It's not an organized program that you would get more if you study with me in person. It's just for you to pick up a little bit of little tips here and there, and for you to just take some things with you to get inspired, and for you to think, you know, about music in sort of the right way. So I'm always trying to give concepts through in a way that is, if I can use that word, correct or theoretically correct, and that will help you develop your playing. So let us get into this diminished 7th arpeggio series here, and we'll take a look at the powerful diminished 7th arpeggio that splits the octave into 4 equal parts. So I'm going to use the F diminished 7th arpeggio as the basis, and this F diminished 7th arpeggio is a 4-in-1. But before we get to that, I'm going to talk to you about the construction of this F diminished 7th arpeggio. So firstly, I'm going to play the F on the first string over here, first string, first fret. And let us take a look quickly at how it's constructed. So you start there, you do 1, 2, 3, and you get to the next note. You go 1, so you move from where your point that you've ended, and you go 1, 2, 3, and you go to the next note, and you go 1, 2, 3, to the next note, and you go 1, 2, 3, and you're back again. So it's a 3 semitones multiplied by 4 equals 12. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'd like to talk to you about the construction. F is the root. Then F, okay, up to A flat is the third. Let me show you. F, G, A. It's A flat, but it's a type of A. Alphabetically, it has to match to be a third. Then from the A flat, we get to the C flat, and I'll discuss why it's a C flat. So the chord construction is root, third, fifth, seventh. In the case of the diminished, it's root, flat 3, or minor third, diminished fifth, and a double flat 7th. So what it's telling us is that the third note in the chord series has to be a type of fifth to be able to be valid. So in this case, we have a diminished fifth, so it's going to be F, G, A, B, C. It's a type of C, but if I look at it, its C would be over here. This is just below C. Most of you will know that as a B, but it's not a B in this case. It's a C flat. It's a C flat because it has to be a C in order to fit the theoretical structure, because a diminished consists out of a root, a minor third, and a diminished fifth. So you've got your root, your minor third, and your diminished fifth over here. So it's a flattened fifth. So we have hence the name C flat. So from there we go up. Again, most of you would recognize this as a D note. It's on the 10th fret of the first string. In this context, it's not a D because it's the 7th degree. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, the 7th degree. In this case, it's not an E as well, because an E would be there. That would be an E flat. It's an E double flat. And on a score, it's got 2 of those flat signs before them. It's an F, it's an E double flat. Now you may think to yourself, why don't I just call it a D? Well, you can call it a D, but from a theoretical purpose and inside of a certain key, it will not be a D. It will literally be an E double flat. So it's better to name these things correctly. What you can say to yourself is, it's located where the D is. You can see it's located where the D is, but from a correct purpose, it's a double flat 7, and it needs to be an E double flat. It doesn't mean that the 7th degree of every diminished 7th would be the letter in a double flat. It depends on where it's located. But you can calculate it always by just taking your fingers, your hands, and going, okay, if F is 1, the next one, F, G, A, has to be a type of third. A, B, C is the fifth. Then you go D, E is the 7th, going back to F. So it's got to fall in the context of the alphabet. So that's the way to work it out. So we've got F as the root, A flat as the minor third, C flat as the diminished fifth, and then finally E double flat as the double flat 7. Now, let's get into the chord and take a look at the power of this chord. I'm not going to, in this video, explain everything too deeply because it will take too long. It's more an overview and you can then go and make some of your own discoveries. So, let's get into this F diminished 7th chord. So there's our F diminished 7th chord. The first thing to recognize is that any one of these notes can be a root note. I could have an A flat as a root note. I could have a D as a root note. I'm not calling this E double flat for the root note purposes. I could have a B as a root note. Again, I'm not calling that C flat for the purposes of showing you multiple chords. And I could have F as a root note. I'll show you what I mean with that. If I take this entire shape here, and I move this shape, and by the way, it's located on from the first string on the 4th fret, then the 3rd fret, 4th fret, and 3rd fret. So 4, 3, 4, 3. It's quite symmetrical. So if I take that up in minor thirds, I would have 1. So moving up, 1, 2, 3. Now I've got an A flat as my root note. 1, 2, 3. Now I've got a B as my root note. 1, 2, 3 to the 12th fret. Now I've got a D as my root note. Now, what is the usage of the diminished 7th? Usually, whenever you've got a chord with tritones, the tritone has got a pull towards a 1 chord. Usually when you've got a 5 in a progression moving to a 1, the tritone would sit on the 5. So if we take a look at this diminished 7th, and once again, it's a little bit advanced. If you're a beginner, you can just watch the video and just take it in, but you don't have to get, don't worry if you don't get everything yet. You can always come back a few years later to watch the same video again. So, if I look at this diminished chord, I have 2 tritones. I've got my first tritone, which is what I call tritone 2 in the series of tritones. It consists out of an F and a B, and for me that would be G dominant 7th, or it would be C sharp or D flat dominant 7th. So I have 2 dominant 7ths within that tritone, but it gets better than that. The diminished chord has got 2 sets of tritones. So you've got the first tritone here, then from this point to this point is a minor third, or 1, 2, 3. That note is the same as that note. So you've got another tritone in the tritone series. I call that tritone 5, and that's going to give you an E7 or a B flat 7th. So let me show you what I mean. Here's my B flat 7. And here's my E7. Point is tritone is on string 1, 4th fret, string 2, 3rd fret. I'll play that again. B flat 7, E7. These 2 notes stay the same. So what we can see is the diminished 7th chord contains 4 dominant 7th chords within them. So what does that tell me? It tells me that it can potentially resolve to 4 keys. And let us take a look at what I mean by that. So this is the diminished 7th. So I'll look at the tritone 2, which is the F and the B. And I'll start with G. There's my G7, or some of you may know G7 like that. That will resolve to C, and I'll take it to the minor. And then there's my F and my B, and that belongs to C sharp 7, and that can then resolve to the F sharp minor 7. So you've got your D flat or C sharp in this case, resolving to F sharp. So we saw 2 things there. We saw a G7 going to a C minor. We saw a C sharp dominant 7th going to an F sharp. Or tritone 2, these legs of the diminished 7th chord resolving to C minor, and then same legs resolving to F sharp minor. So 2 resolutions, C minor or F sharp minor. Then we have these 2 legs, which I call T5. I call it tritone 5. And the tritone 5 system, all that system is extremely powerful, and one can do so much with that. So the T5 if you resolve that T5, you're going to go, it's always a note up. It pulls up a note up, so it goes to A minor. So you got this tritone moving upwards to A minor over there. And then this one moving up to E flat. So yeah, so basically that tritone gives us resolution to A minor or resolution to E flat minor. Now, that seems like a lot of chords, and I understand that, but I'm going to make it simple for you. You take the lowest note, which is an F here, and that resolves to the F sharp minor. And then to find out where it resolves from, I can simply take that F sharp minor shape and go 1, 2, 3 to A minor, 1, 2, 3 to C minor, 1, 2, 3 to E flat minor. So basically the chords themselves is on a diminished seventh leg as well. You've got F sharp, A minor, C minor, and E flat minor. Isn't it beautiful, the sound? Imagine you've got something nice and sinister about that. Nice song that one could create with. Actually used in a lot of film music when they would create a chord progression on a displaced by 3 semitones. That would create a very interesting sound, because you would go from your E flat and then you may go to your A minor, and then you may go to your C minor, and then you could go to an F sharp minor, and it creates a sort of dissonant effect that's extremely beautiful. So let us just take a look at it again. What have we discovered with this diminished seventh chord? It's got a particular sound. We've discovered that if we take it 3 semitones up, the same chord comes back. The same shape. Let me just show you that in a bit more detail. I'll tell you the names of the notes, and I'm going to tell them to you not in the theoretical way, but just in an easy way to understand. So you've got an F, a B, a D, and an A flat. A flat, D, F, B, B, F, A flat, and D, A flat, B, and F. And by the way, if you practice this as an exercise, saying and playing it, F, B, D, A flat, and then you go up A flat, D, F, B, and then you go up B, F, A flat, D, and you go up F, B, A flat, D. If you practice it, saying it and playing it, you will also get to know your fingerboard as well. So it's quite a good exercise for you just to take the diminished shape, move it up, say the names of the notes. That will tell you, wow, this thing is actually duplicating itself every 3 frets, every 3 semitones. It will tell you that it's duplicating itself, and it will also tell you that it will show you the power of the chord, and it will show you as well, okay, we've got tritone there, tritone there, tritone there, tritone there. And if I analyze the tritones by themselves, they have got tritone 1, which is an F and a B, okay, and you've got tritone 5, which is a D and an A flat. If I take that up, interestingly, the tritone 5 switches over here, so basically this note goes here, this note goes here. So the thing flips around, and the lower tritone jumps up there. And each time you do that, it does the flip. It does a flip. So mathematically, it creates some very beautiful sequential patterns that you can just enjoy and appreciate the art with. So that's the chord. I will leave you with one more thing. The scale that you can play, and you can look in the description below. There's going to be a PDF there that you can download with the chords on there, just showing some resolutions and also showing you this scale. The scale that you can use is the whole half. That's a whole note, half note, whole, half, whole, half, whole, half, whole. that's basically what you can use on that, is what is the whole, half, whole, half, whole, half, whole, half, whole, half, whole. That's the scale that you can use on that chord if you want to improvise over a particular diminished seventh voicing. So, look in the description below. It's well worth it to get to know the diminished seventh chord because there's a lot that can be done with it. It's the 7th degree of the harmonic minor. So if you're into metal playing, you're going to find a lot of the diminished seventh chords and arpeggios in metal playing. If you're into jazz, you'll find a lot of them as well. They act as a sort of vehicle for the dominant seventh chord. Remember something, a dominant seventh chord contains a tritone. And the diminished seventh voicing contains 2 tritones stacked on top of each other, displaced by a minor third. So you've got these 2 tritones displaced by a minor third, which opens up a world of 4 keys for us. So it's a very powerful device, and there's so much that can be done with it. I apologize if the video seems a little bit advanced, but I do have some advanced students who's always interested in this type of material as well. But just watch it and enjoy. Even if you just take away from it, look, if I get a starting point, I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Even if you just take that away from the video, you will get to know something and you'll be able to play something with it. So have a great week ahead. We'll speak again soon, and I wish you the greatest success in your guitar playing.